How you guys doing today? Today is April 20th, as we call where I come from. 420 Asada. If you're new here, that's my thumbnail. Actually, if you're new here, how are you? Especially if you're new, if you clicked on my thumbnail, then you had the audacity to think that that was a good life decision. Props to you, because you understand my plight. I am so sick. I am so sick, and you better right here. If you are a YouTuber and your thumbnail looks like the bullshit I've been seeing constantly of this clickbaity, like, I lost a whole savings, what am I gonna do? I quit. Or like, I made $5 billion on SafeMoon. Sup, losers? Buy new. I hate you. Off the bat. And I mean that from the deepest, darkest hole of my whole entire soul. I hate you. Stop it. Now. None of us care. So if you clicked on mine knowing that I actually have real content outside of these idiots, congrats, you made the right decision. I'm going to show you technical analysis really well. I'm going to use exclusively the 180-day 4-hour chart. That's where I stay at. This is where you'll find Daddy, is on that chart. I go to the 10-year chart to check out the major things, but that's where the bread and butter is made. That sounds weird. I'm going to show you supports, resistances, trend lines, patterns, volume profile, EMA lines, RSI, stochastic, and vortex. These 9 things is what I put into a clear, concise technical analysis of a ticker. Now, technical analysis only goes so far. Fundamental analysis only goes so far. Hedge fund buying, whales buying, news only goes so far. You must take all of these, wrap them in a pretty bow, deliver it on your table, and then open it and really dive in. I'm only going to do 1/5 of the work for you. If you really want to be successful, this must be done on your own. This is not financial advice. This is entertainment and educational. I'm going to take the half of YouTubers who do this, who do educational stuff, and the other half who do applicable watch lists, and put them together. I'm going to put them together for you. So, if you enjoy this kind of content, you enjoy a grown man screaming in his guest bedroom, like, subscribe to the bell notification. You don't want to miss any of this, baby. Hi. And if you really enjoy the content, 1, see a doctor, and then 2, I have a Discord channel. You don't have to join, okay? There's no pressure, okay? But if you enjoy morning watch lists, evening watch lists, early video access, and a community full of nice, lovely people whom I love, I would consider looking into it. 7-day trials on me still. You want to come check it out, no big deal. I'm basically the Motley Fool, but not an idiot, and for swing trading. So if you enjoy any kind of like service like that, that's what I'm doing. It's not financial advice, again. It's just what I see in my opinion. Lastly, today was a great day for me. 1, it's 420. No, I'm just kidding. But I actually hired an accountant today. The fact that I have an accountant, the fact that I have an accountant is hysterical. But also, I'm going to make a legitimate business and company and LLC out of this. So, to all you who have supported me, again, I have a lot of dumb jokes. And this is me being very serious for a moment. The support means a lot. It truly does. The fact that I have an opportunity to do this is a true gift. And I take this so seriously. I know that I put out the persona of being chill and funny, but like, this is where I want to be professionally. This is what I really love. I like teaching, and of course my high school, they know. I love them, not leaving them. But like, being able to do this every day with you guys has been sensational. It's only going to get better. So again, taking off the stupid face of like, oh, look at me, oh. For being here, I salute you. I appreciate you. It means the world, honestly. Now back to what I was doing. Oh, Bruce swing, oh, Chef Boyardee swing, No, but again, if you enjoy this kind of content, I do appreciate it. Otherwise, 10 great tickers today. Our first short, look at that, autofocus, boom. Our first short of the whole entire series. I don't know if it's going to work out or not. I never know if it's going to, but I think it's really cool to have some shorts coming because of how the market's looking. With that being said, you guys are amazing, and let's get into it. So above me, as we can see, we have 10 stocks today. We actually have our first short of the episode and our first short of the whole entire series. I'm going to kind of switch that up a little bit as we get into some more murky waters. They may be useful for us moving forward. So with that being said, let's get into it. Our first one is CNO. And you're probably thinking, where are the lines? Well, I'm going to show you my sweet baby angels. So we have a clear support right about here where it's sitting at. There's one down here, but it's not really in play yet, so we're not going to worry about that. And a clear resistance somewhere on this area. I'll go with this swing high right about there. I make my resistances orange. I make my supports white. We can see we have a nice trend line and come down here and come all the way over. And see it hits pretty well through all these. You could also come over here and do it from here if you would so choose. I think this is probably a better one in my opinion. And then we can do this, make a nice little channel. So as we can see, are we at the buy-in spot yet? Nope, we're right about there. This is what I'm baking in the cake for you. If we do have some pullbacks tomorrow and into this week, CNO should be a play coming up tomorrow, Thursday, maybe even Friday, right? So it's not ready yet, but we have value, but I want to give it a day or two. Let us mull it over and think about it. This is early call, and that's okay. We have our support trend line. Let's find a resistance trend line. I think a good one is we can take this and duplicate it, and we can come up here and see that, yeah, we have quite a lot lining up in this area. It's not perfect, but it's lining up pretty well. So come over here and see we have a great looking trend line that hits 4 times. Again, if it doesn't hit 3 times, it's not a trend line in my opinion. Any one of you idiots, any one of me idiots can draw a point from point A to point B just fine. 3 times is the key. This is definitely wedging a tiny bit, but I can give us an idea. Maybe our, a breakout would be about 15% or less. Probably more than that makes no sense to me, honestly. Turn on your volume profile. We can see we have our first 70% volume line right here. This is where the top of most volume happens. This is the bottom. It's good to be above it if you want to go for a continuation play like we are with the trend line. You want to be below it or near the bottom for a channel play, and this is a good spot to be. POC is down here. This is going to be gravitational, but the farther away we get, the weaker it's going to be. And you can see the next 3 months it will shift up for sure, and that's going to be a good sign of strength moving forward. So I make it like this, dotted red lines. Beautiful. There's also capital B. Capital B's are synonymous with support and going forward and strength because it's an old node becoming a new node up here. Even a B right here, as we can see, looking pretty good with the volume profile. And then, of course, last but not least, put a little signature on it so I can always look at the charts and screenshot the bad boy. Boom. So CNO, a beautiful channel up. Now again, it's going back and forth. Supports that are horizontal are better. If this pulls back, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw around 23.86. And so if you're not sold yet, don't buy it. All right, it's a watch listing show. If you don't like one of these, don't buy into it. But if you do like where this is at, where it's headed, look into it. If it does tap our support, look for about 5%, maybe a 6% run, risking 2 or 3 at most. 1.5 makes sense because then you can cut it and buy back in lower. Because again, with this kind of market, the whole entire purpose and goal is preservation and reserving your funds and capital as we try and make some money. But being overly risky is the dumbest thing you can do. So those looks really good. Let's check the indicators. What's super cool about my channel, besides me, is that I also have fantastic patrons. Hey, sweethearts. No, but it is the fact that I do not look at these indicators before I talk about them. I don't know what the email lines are doing. I don't know what the RSI is doing, the stock or the vortex are doing. I'm doing this 100% raw with you guys. So I think it's going to be really cool for us to see what I got to see and what I'm going to process while I'm live on camera. It's a really cool thing that I do, I think. Not much more is cool about me besides this. So it's below the 50. Most big run-ups happen above the 50 and the 200, as we can see. Every time it gets above it, it tries to run up. Even here was a nice 4% run, which doesn't sound like a lot, but I'd rather be 4% up than 40% down on Mara. Oof, too soon. So we can see a clear support will be around the 200 EMA line, and the closer we can get to that, the better. 2.58%, so maybe 3% more. It's going to dip down until that area if you want to do a real value play. But waiting for the cross back above the 50 and holds not a terrible idea. Just move your stop loss up to maybe 25 and some change, maybe 24 and some change, and see what's up. But that's a pretty good sign. It's both, it's rolling pretty well. RSI is low, but does it reverse here? Kind of. I think it's going to be either it curls and goes back up and we're going to ride that little wave up over the 50, or we need a better deal. Stock is almost below -40, good sign. I see no clear divergences. Actually, yeah, you can see a bearish divergence had formed. Look at that, isn't that cool? It formed a bearish divergence and it died. So that's interesting how that happens. But I'm looking for a bullish one. Not quite yet. I don't see, well, I guess you can say that this is technically a bullish divergence right here. That most definitely is. So that's a good sign. And then the bulls just lost power, but the bulls are getting close to oversold, bears close to overbought. CNO needs a day. it needs a day. Am I ready to buy it? No, but I'm ready for us to have a look at it and give it a gander, check it out. I think CNO has some really good possibilities in this week. Look into it, watch list it, and keep your eye on it. But don't jump in. There's no point quite yet. So next is CP. This is a great looking ticker. Now it's a lot like the S&P 500 and NASDAQ, where it's kind of not a perfect channel, and that's okay. Now, you don't have to have a perfect channel at all times. Railways tickers are doing crazy. Rail is, at least, so just look into that. It's more expensive, but I think you're paying a premium for the easier setups. It ran up really nice, and then it collapsed. So you can see earnings is coming. That's what the play is going to be off of. Every time it's dipped from earnings, it's come back. Dip from earnings, it comes back. So this is going to need another 2 or 3 days. If CP does dip to this golden trend line, fantastic, because it does drop down here. What's the risk? It comes down here, what, 2-3%? You can let it run almost to 337, 2%. It's clearly lost structure. Get rid of it, right? And then then it'll start bouncing around, and you'll be like, why did I sell it? But then it's going to start downtrending. We don't want that. It's clear also, higher low, higher low, higher low. This is a weird volume thing for sure. But higher low, higher low, higher low. It didn't hold here, so we needed to hold here. If we see a lower high here, if this does break below the support, you should at least know long term you have a higher low, but short term you do not, and that will affect your risk versus reward and your price target where it should be. But CP, easy setup, easy read, low risk. I like it a lot. Let's check the indicators. Oof. Chef Boyer swing like what he sees. So it's breaking the 200. Am I concerned? Yeah, a little. I'm not gonna lie. I thought I was right on it, but my eyes befooled me. I wish it was above it and bouncing off it. But this is a fantastic value area. Can it get lower? Sure. CP's at $350. You don't think 320 or 300 or 260 is possible? It was at 260 almost, a few months ago. So I don't think it's overly ambitious to think that it could tank at any given time like any other ticker can. So good area to buy into. Good strong support. The POC. Good 200 EMA line. A lot of supports going around right here. RSI under 30 almost. Vortex is low for bulls. Bears are high. Stochastic is low. I don't see any really clear divergences quite yet. Seems to be checking out pretty well. But CP, again, it needs a day. You should be watching and tracking Thursdays and Mondays calls and Sundays calls. And then these should be ready to go on Thursday or Friday. I want to bake in some cake here. I want to bake into the equation that you need a day or two to watch some of these. So again, CP, it looks great. I just want to give it a day or two. CSTM was a great play. If you check back, I called it right about here. So it looks pretty good. And know what it did? It ran up almost 9%, almost to my moonshot. And know what it is again? Right back down here. Now again, we should be a bit concerned that we have a lower high than this, but long term, higher low, higher low, higher low, higher low, higher low. This has an opportunity to reverse anywhere between here and most likely, I would assume, probably close to about $13.90 to $14. So it does break down. Let's not freak out. I'm a little bit bold with my support line here. On second look, I'm thinking that this gap right here is probably going to be where it's going to probably reverse that if this trend line breaks. So tomorrow, if CSTM comes at the gate red and comes down to about $14, again, very small risk. It breaks down here, 2.5%. You've lost higher lows long term. Get rid of it. Find yourself something else. Great support, great trend line, great life over a long period of time. Earnings is coming in a week. So again, run it up if you can, but do not hold through that and make sure you're aware of earnings coming up. With that being said, let's check the indicators. So just like John Bon Jovi, my father, riding that steel horse of the 200 EMA line, I think we can get a good value of 14, 13 seems to be the most perfect value spot. But, it reverses plenty before that too. Like right over here, it did dip down and reverse fairly quickly. So I don't want to wait for that. Now, with this market, I think waiting's never a bad idea. Never, ever a bad idea to get your full confidence behind something. So I think this is a good area. It could be better, though, given the data. RSI is a good spot. I mean, it does reverse plenty of this area, as my cat does litter. It's not annoying at all. This is definitely a good area for RSI change and to switch and reverse. Stochastic's below 40. That's great. And then, of course, the bulls are losing to the bears. So I think it may pull back more. I think bears may run up a little bit more. Tippy tap around 1.31, 1.4, 1.10. And then, of course, our bulls may come down a little bit farther. So I think it may pull back to the 200 and go from there. That's going to be my play personally. get your own DD. But CSTM looking pretty good. So here's our first shorting one. This needs to be clear. I'm not the biggest fan of shorting. I'm a much bigger fan of bear ETFs, whether it's UVXY, LabD, whatever it may be. Those make way more sense to me in my trading strategy. But the point of this channel isn't for me to show you what I do and only what works for me. There's a reason I have so many different setups, and I really focus having ascending triangles, wedging up, wedging down, horizontal channels, channel ups, high volume, low volume, expensive, cheap. I want everyone who comes here to have an opportunity to partake. And if you are really good at shorting stocks in this market, I think Doc's going to be a great candidate. I would personally do a ETF, but I'm also more conservative than most of my setups. But Doc, again, for what I'm seeing, it makes a lot of sense. But you need to do your own DD, and of course, if this does shoot off, you can lose more than 100%, given the fact that shorts, you're selling first then buying. If this were to jump up to like $400, you'll be in the hole 300, 400, 500%. So make sure you have a stop loss or a stop gain for Doc. But this is a clearly great channel here. We can see over a long period of time, it gets in this channel, boop, 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 it reverses plenty and drops down plenty. Now it has higher highs, but this is a long-term resistance. I mean, this thing has been hard for a while. That's what she said. Got him. So this is definitely a great bet. Worst case, if it keeps going, you lose 2%. Okay, and that's plenty of room. That's not that big of a deal. Doc also is a great dividend stock. So if this does come back down, it can take easily 5, maybe even 11, 10%. This is definitely one, if you were to reverse it, is like JDST in reverse. So like, I think that this is a great buy-in for JDST, and it's a great short for Doc. I think Doc, do your news, do your research. There's a reason it's up here. I can't tell you, I haven't done it yet. I gotta do it tonight for my newsletter. But this is definitely streaking, and given the market, I think it may start to consolidate, come back down. But again, with a short, a stop loss or a buy-in would be necessary no matter what. Even if I'm not telling you which one must be done. Let's check the indicators. So it's above the 200 and the 50 where most runs happen, but for a short, those will be where it finds support, and so that's going to be the opposite. That'll be like a resistance for your for moving forward. If it does hit the 50 or the 200 and show some life, you may want to consider buying and getting out. We can see that the RSI is clearly over 75. It's almost to 80. It was up to 80 this morning. That's insane and really high. That's good. Stock is super high. That's great. Bulls are high, bears are low. So it's the same exact setup we usually have. It's just in reverse. And again, I'm not Mr. Short Everything. I'm not Mr. Bear Market, which is so dumb after this huge run we had. I get it. I get if you bought CCIV, which my thumbnail probably triggered you, and I apologize. I'm sorry that you're hurt, and I hope you make money eventually again. But just because the stocks that you're buying are dying does not mean that every stock is dying. So Doc, great candidate for it. Do your research, but I like it a lot. Next is Etsy. This is one that I actually love for a long-term hold, personally in my opinion, but it's making a beautiful triangle. Ooh, are these higher lows and lower highs? Ooh, look at that. That's gorgeous. This is a great spot to buy into. Now with a triangle, my assumption, I could be wrong, which ask my high school teachers, I often am. I think that there's going to be a chance that the 200 EMA line is down here, or it's going to be somewhere in the middle consolidating. But this is a great area, great support. Now, if it does break, if this does continue down, don't jump in. But you can see 191 being a great buy-in, maybe 190, even if it does get down to 180. Watchlist this. You may not buy it now, but if you see 180 for Etsy, check it out, big fella. It's a great pick. This is a great triangle, a great looking stock, blue chip. It's a fantastic pickup. It has a lot of fundamental intangibles like being an online store and people like arts and shit. It should be a good pickup. Let's check the indicators. Boy, who knew that the 250 would be consolidating in the middle. That's a real clear sign of a triangle forming, especially a horizontal one. Take that home, kids, and read up on that. So these will be resistances moving forward. So if I am wrong, if this is a channel play, if it's a horizontal channel play, these will be resistances, and you may want to take your profits around 5% if it continues to be a hassle to you. Under 30 RSI, sexual. Stochastics low. Is that a curl? Uh-oh. Curling, sexual. This is... Bruce Springswing is in the house. This is a great setup. So I think Etsy, 10 out of 10 in my opinion, especially for a long-term hold. But again, you must do your own due diligence and research it. But for me, this is a fantastic pickup. I'm usually against blue chips, and Etsy and GE in a row are fairly large, but again, I'm not a hack. I don't go for Dogecoin clicks or SafeMoon clicks or Mara clicks unless I'm triggering people, and that's funny to me. And again, it's trolling, it's a joke. I don't really want you to lose money, but your boy got to pay the bills, and that's funny. Also, on that note, I hate those thumbnails so much. If you're a clickbait person, you have those dumb thumbnails, catch me outside, and I will wreck you. Horde. Let's get off this nonsense. This is a beautiful trend line, right? And this is going to be a purely, I'm assuming, a purely value play. Maybe the 200's down here somewhere muddling around. But we have earnings coming up. I hate earnings. Hate them. And they always goof everything up for me. But if this does dip, then we can play a Fibonacci retracement if you're into that. And maybe you can just find a good support. That's what I do. It should be a good play. But this is a great low risk. It breaks everything. 3%. Get out. Get out. Find something better. It don't matter. Because you can buy it back in at 12.25 to really make sure there's no, lower low. Because that breaks, it's all over from here, big fella. We do have a higher low, short term, boom, 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 higher, and then it came down. So this could reverse, 12.36, 12.25. But this trend line looks beautiful. A bad move to first resistance is going to be 6%. You're risking 3, 2 to 1, even for a bad move. So GE, do your fundamentals. Okay, is this a wedge forming? Is this a possible... this is definitely going to make an ascending triangle, boop, boop, boop. Possibly. You got to do your own research. But this is a good pickup, minus the earnings, which it could run up. I don't know. Who the hell am I? Let's check the indicators. So once again, I'm just so talented at this time chart. I'm so worthless at day trading, and I'm so worthless at crypto, and I'm so worthless at iron condors. Shout out to Ryan. That's definitely a great band name, but I shotgunned it first. Sucks. When it comes to swing trading on this time chart, I'm such butter, dude. I'm so good. This is such a clear play. For me at least, in my opinion. Don't sue me. This is such an easy play up to 200. What more could you want? This is right where you want it. If it breaks down lower, you wait to cross back over the 200. It's holding here. It breaks a little bit. Get rid of it. Buy back when it crosses over. Chef Boyar swings in his house. We have a clear negative 30 or below 30. Gorgeous. Almost below negative 40. We got to see that turn north eventually. Bulls low, bears high. Again, I don't like blue chips. I don't like calling shit that people other call because there's no point. That's the whole point of this channel, is that if someone else is calling NIO every 5 seconds, why would I call it? That's not the point of this. It's to show you different things and expand your minds, my sweet, sweet baby angels. But GE, when I see a bop, I'm going to call a bop. GE makes a lot of sense to me. So this is the plight of my job that I saw ONCY earlier, and I had a meeting with my accountant. The fact that I have an accountant and I look like this is absolutely hysterical to me. But this is what I was hoping it wasn't going to do now, but this is definitely a good sign of strength that ONCY is such a beautiful setup, especially for a long-term hold. I mean, I don't want you to be in this for like 60 days hoping and praying this happens. It's not going to happen again. I'm not going to get your hopes up. It could. But like, this is such a rarity on this time chart. Now this makes sense. A little spiky spike. Okay, sure. But you got to catch that and have alerts set. It's going to be real hard. Now, I think that I would not purchase this here. This is a great sign though. Look at this. You go to a smaller time chart. I should show you. I don't like this time chart. It looks like stupid. Look at that. Lower high, lower low. Lower high, lower low, low. This is simple stuff that no one ever looks at. Lower low. Lower high. Oh, higher low. Oh, when you get a higher high, this is when your signal to really watch is going to be when it gets above this point. Once it gets above $3.02, and it's going to retract. It should retract. If it comes back down and shows life over 287 or 279, 280, and starts to live there, that's going to be your buying point. Once we confirm higher highs and higher lows, this kind of drop off is not going to be conducive to great buying. IQ is similar. See how it's still dying? Don't buy it. It's going to keep dropping. We'll see what's going to happen. It's like DOA? No, DAO. Oh, look at that. I hit price target. Good. Came down. Bada boom. Came up at my price target. I'm goated. ONCY is a similar setup at a different angle with a more bullish angle. I like it a lot, but I'm not going to pay for it here. I think it's much better towards the POC or at the bottom near 275 and some change. Let's check the indicators. So this is where the mom's spaghetti comes hard to read sometimes, for sure. But if you just take this, watch this. So if I just take this side here, move it a little bit, and then I can zoom in like this, like a block, makes it a little bit easier to see. Hacks, what's up? I'm definitely a hacker, obviously. This is going to be difficult. It's below the 250. These will be resistances. I guess my play is I'm going to wait for it to hit those and die and then rebuy in, or wait for a full cross. I don't think it's going to fully cross over the first time. I don't think it's going to even break this resistance. But if it does get back down to like 270, 269, what's up? We have a good play on our hands. It was below 30. It's still low. All right, it's just still low. Okay, playroom. Stochastic says calm the F down. I agree. And of course, bulls are middle, bears. Again, it's consolidating. ONCY is it's a great lesson for us. I think it's a 10 out of 10, 5% to go, 6% to go. Because then we have a great room to run up. But in this market, man, it's so close to resistances, and a lot of us have such confidence issues holding a long period of time because you never know what the fuck's going to happen. I swore, sorry. Sorry, folks who pay me ads to be on here. You'll be okay. And parents, sorry. This is going to be a hard hold if it dips 5% and then you have to hold it. So I don't think that's like the best logical spot to buy in right now. I think if you're being smart, you see something that I don't see because you should be doing this yourself, sure. But I think 3 to 4 days, we show some patience. ONCY makes a lot of sense if it's where we want it to be for value. Next is PSTX, Poseida Therapeutics, a healthcare company. Oh, interesting. So this is a great support area. Now it has very, very obvious lower highs. It also has very obvious lower lows. But we also have right here a possible trend reversal. If it does get down and turn around and make a higher low, that's the first step. The second step is breaking the trend line. Once we can break this resistance trend line, that's step number 2. And then volume comes. That's usually step number 3. So great horizontal play. And you could say it's, you can go to the 10-year chart and really start mincing different patterns, but like it's a newer IPO, which I don't love. I don't. But this is definitely where this stock is finding floor. And look we got earnings coming in about a month. If you can do some DD about PSTX and you see something that I don't see, which I haven't researched yet, which is totally possible, and I fully encourage you to go beyond what I do and actually almost like force you to do so. If they have something coming up, they have like a cancer cure, they have like gene splicing that's like top notch, that could be a fantastic run up. So again, do your own DD, but PSTX support wise, if it can break this downtrend, can easily see 10, 15, 20%, 30 in a full move. It looks really good. Let's check the indicators. So it's below both EMA lines. The real crutch is going to be the 200, strong, thick, moist, West Coast chunky kid, 200 EMA line. That's also a joke to Colin Cowherd with his Sam Darnold jokes. That's hysterical. Also, I didn't put this RSI lines here. That's funny because I was showing somebody this and I guess I left them on here. Funny how that works. RSI is low. It's where you want it. Beautiful. Stochastic's fair. And again, you're gonna give up these indicators eventually. They're gonna go back up because if they don't go back up, you're not gonna make any money. So if you want to have everything be perfect, it's a rarity. I do find them, but I'll give up the stochastic being perfect for this kind of play. I would. Oh no. And then the vortex is fair. Again, it's consolidating. I think we could possibly see 2 scenarios happen. One is that we take the vortex and the RSI run up, and the stochastic runs up. We break the trend line. Then we hit the 15 die and come back down, and then we take off. I think PSTX is about 3 weeks. 3 weeks holding for now, if it does show life, if you like it, to really be to fruition and blooming. But I think that's a great swing area. If the earnings make sense, PSTX makes a lot of sense. I like it. I just want to see it break this trend line first, personally. Second to last is STT. Now, you're probably thinking, don't catch falling knives. And of course, I totally agree, but here's what I'm saying. I'm not going to buy STT. I'm not going to think anyone should buy STT until we see some life. I don't think this is a justifiable purchase off of earnings. Now, what I do see is 50 cents dividend at 78 or 70 bucks. A little less than 1%, but like a 6-month hold gets you a guaranteed 2% return, which is pretty nice. You know, I like dividends. But I also see that this earnings, what do I do? Shit the bed, and what do I do? Came right back. What do I do over here? Shit the bed. It took a while, but it did come back. I want to capitalize on this. It's an overreaction. It's a clear overreaction. Now, do your DD on why I did this. It's probably important to know that they're shitting the bed 3 earnings in a row. Why is that? What are you guys doing wrong? Do you guys need a new CEO? Call me. Right? So make sure you guys know what's up. It did break the trend line. So that should be a bit concerned because now we have a lower low. So long term, we've had higher lows across the board. Of course, you can come down all the way to 72 and say, well, it technically has higher lows. That's probably valid. But short term, if we're going to like cut all this out right here, this is definitely higher high, higher low, lower high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, lower low. So it's definitely dying for some reason. I wouldn't buy a falling knife. But if it does come down, the market turns around, you could see a good buy for STT on a risk versus reward basis. Let's check the indicators. Once again, I'm undefeated in what I do. Goated, low key, what's up? We can see that it breaks to 200 often. Does it come back? Yes. Would I bet my house on it? No. Would I put a small percentage of my portfolio on this if I see some life? Yeah, sure. I think what you want to do here, this is my personal opinion, is that I would definitely wait for whatever you consider value to buy in off of the price action alone. But I think if we can come down, show some life, break back above and hold above the 200, that should be my personal buy-in spot just because we're going to move the stop loss right below the 200 and now we've mitigated our risk. It keeps coming down, screw it. You lost 2 or 3% on like 5% in your portfolio. That's not a lot. You can do that 20 more times and only lose 2% of your portfolio. So I think that's a great risk versus reward and a great way to act in this kind of market. This is a clear under 30, clear low. It's fantastic. This is a clear example, though, of where you need to go be an adult, put your adult pants on, go get a nice, chamomile tea or a beer, or if you're like me, get a White Claw because the claw is the law. White Claw, call me. Sponsorship. So we can also definitely have whatever that is and go do your due diligence. If you can read up on why STT plummeted the last 3 times, you can then use that to your advantage. But if you're going to be lazy and just trust me, and they get mad if it does continue down, you're just being stupid. And when someone with pink hair and Gators calls you stupid, it should really hurt more than usual. That's funny. Last but not least, TRGP. Of those who watch my channel often, which to you I say, catch that. We can see I called TRGP right here. I was like, this looks pretty good. Pretty good buy. And it's right. I mean, I don't know the exact date. This is a bunch of spaghettis, but I was like, yeah, it looks pretty good. And what did it do? It ran up, and where did it get to? I was a bit high on the moonshot. I didn't do my math right, but we were in our price target. Okay, this is the goal. This is a great lesson inside this lesson, inside the lesson. If you're going to set unrealistic, stupid price targets, if your whole entire process of price target setting is, well, the previous high was $35, so I expected to make $36. Dumb. Big dumb. Especially in this kind of market where we're seeing a lot of turbulence and choppiness and a lot of sector rotation. Tech's getting the shit kicked out of right now. Low cap tech's getting the balls kicked in. But that will eventually be the best sector to buy again. So this is not going to last forever. But if you're going to be setting price targets arbitrarily without a plan, have fun not doing this in 6 months because you're going to want to blow all your money and your head. But no, go blow it all and then be upset and then get depressed. You got to have realistic price targets in this kind of market. So this is what I saw. It ran up, hit our price target. You would have set probably a trailing stop loss like 1 or 2%. Would have ran another extra 3 or 4%, and then you would have gotten out. And this is what's clear. I'm not going to tell you how I do this. It's not your business. Random people on YouTube, folks on my Discord know what I'm up to. But this is where I saw it. This is how I played it. And it was successful. I want to see it do it again. It's broadening out. It's a broadening wedge. We can see that we have 3 clear hits of the resistance trend line. This has not yet come up here. Now, if this wants to continue, this has to happen. Is that going to happen? I don't know, maybe. But we have a clear indication of a higher high recently, a higher low. So it's not done yet. We still have plan to run up. TRGP, I like it a lot. I personally bought it and made money on the last move. Let's check the indicators. So we have a clear value and a clear crossover. Thank you to the 50 and 200 EMA line as my chair creaks louder. Everyone loves that sound. But right here, this to me is not holding. I need more. If I want to consider this a crossover. This is really weak. This is weak sauce. I want to see one more candle like this. I want to see one that's obviously a rhombus of some shape. That'd be tight. But give me one more, baby. Give me one. If that does happen, a clear crossover, go long. Stop loss below the 50. Stop looking at your stuff. And the second is off the 200. That does come down. Buy in there. RSI is fair. It's fair. That was a good squeak. It does reverse here, though. That's a good sign. Stochastic almost where you want it. Starting to curl some. This is going to be super weird because if the vortex does cross lower, we will see it pull back farther, probably to the 200. And if it does bounce and consolidate, that's a good sign of us building it for a big move. TRGP may need a day, okay? But I think this is a great pickup, a great safe risk first reward kind of play. So there you guys have it. We have 10 fantastic plays for tomorrow and into next week. It's super critical, and I keep saying it as we get more developed into my little tangents, but it's so important for you guys to go do your own due diligence. The amount of Discords that I'm in and Reddits that I'm an admin on and that I'm in, and all the YouTube folks and Twitter folks who don't do any research of their own is baffling to me. If you want this to be a side job, a secondary job, your full-time job, and this is the kind of shit you do, you're not going to be successful. If you think that any of the laziness that some of y'all show would reflect your workplace mentality and the way you would behave, I would not hire you. And I mean that as nicely as possible. This is not the folks who watch my channel as much, and again, some of you definitely blindly follow me, which again is troubling. I mean, look at me. What are you doing? I'm a Browns fan. I've lost for 20 years. What are you doing? Right? So if you want to blindly follow me, that's on you. I take no responsibility. If you blindly follow Zip Charlie, that's on you. If you blindly follow Rainer Tao, that's on you. If you blindly follow Ricky Gutierrez, that's on you. You need to do your own due diligence. And I can show you. I'm here to help. Comment. Be like, yo, what do you do, dog? I'll show you. This is not a secret, right? But you need to do your own research. And you need to start looking into sector rotation. There's a reason. This is not an accident why I track these. I said earnings for financials may go either way. I think there's still plenty of possibility of earnings, okay, with financial. Okay, this is dipping, not what I want to see. But what's green today? Oh, utilities. Oh, the thing I said to watch, the sector rotation. Oh, real estate. Oh, that's weird. Oh, consumer staples. That's weird. Oh, healthcare. Oh, that's weird. So you're saying that everyone's saying that the market's dying, but there's 4 sectors that are green. So what are we doing? So make sure you, again, I would suggest you watch my sector rotation video because I'm not always right. I'm not the most smart guy out there. I just said most smart, obviously. But I do know that if you're going to play the same sector and the same setups all the time, you're going to have a bad time. And I think that you're now fishing in a pond while folks who follow me and others who try their best at this are going to be fishing in the ocean. Real estate looks great. Consumer cyclical looks great. Financials, if it does come back, looks great. Industrials looks great. All I'm saying is diversify and make good decisions. If you enjoy this kind of content, if you enjoy a grown man screaming in his guest bedroom with a cat, I suggest you like, subscribe, hit the bell notification. If you're so inclined to check out the Discord, let me know. Otherwise, I like what I have. I'm not really pressed about it. If you don't want to join, that's cool too. I'm all here for it. Otherwise, have a good rest of your Tuesday, and we'll see you guys tomorrow. Thanks.